Shifu, can share the career prospects of postgraduate academic studies in Buddhist studies and the most relevant courses. Okay, so this is from Anonymous. Asking me to share the career prospects of postgraduate academic studies in Buddhist studies and the most relevant courses, meaning to the most relevant courses to go for this postgraduate academic studies. From what I know, I don't think there's any particular relevant courses that you need to take. Yeah, because I was told by one of the senior monk that because I have a degree, if I like to go for master's, all I need to do is take a bridging postgrad diploma, then I can go straight for the master's. Yeah, but of course, if you if this person took well, I think before we go into what is the relevant course, to begin with, I don't know. I hesitate to think about a career prospect in terms of Buddhist, studies. Yeah, we shouldn't be studying Buddhism as a career prospect. Yeah, granted, in other countries or in some countries, people do study Buddhism as a career option. So they become lecturers in Buddhism, and then they are just like another lecturer. Yeah. I don't mean to put down lecturers in universities that they are just another lecturer. But the truth is, if you learn Buddhism for career prospect, then it is just another career option. Yeah. Then you're missing the whole point about Buddhist studies. Buddhist studies was never, or Buddhism, the Dhamma. Yeah, maybe it's good that they call it Buddhist studies, because Buddhist study is different from learning Dhamma. Buddhist study is 佛学, 佛学, that means academic study of Buddhism, or it's just an academic study. But the Buddha taught the Dhamma. Yeah. So it's and then we should learn from the Buddha. So it should be 佛学, 学佛 should be 学佛. The purpose of the Dhamma is has always been, should always be, for the purpose of getting ourselves to learn more about our current state, our suffering, the origin of our suffering, to know the true cessation of suffering, and to know the path leading to the cessation of suffering. That should be the purpose. Yeah. The Buddha himself declared that. Don't think, Sifu, you yourself come up, you always come at some ridiculous standard. No, this is what the Buddha said. Venerable Sariputra once asked the Buddha, that if anyone were to ask, what is the purpose of the Dhamma Vinaya as expounded by the Buddha? What is the purpose? What is the intent? Then how should one answer? And that's what the Buddha said. Yeah. That is for us to know suffering and know the way to the end of suffering. Yeah. So if we learn Buddhism just for career prospect, I think there are many ways that you can earn money better. Yeah. Like if all you want is a career prospect, come, I can teach you how to do right programs. That can earn you a lot more. Yeah. Of course, some people will say, well, but you know, if I'm going to uh, pursue a career, then at least Dharma career better than, yeah, but then you are kind of like using the Dharma for a wrong purpose, you know. Yeah. But Sifu, isn't that more meaningful? You know, I'm teaching the Dharma. Yeah, but you are not teaching Dharma. If you yourself learn Dharma not to end suffering, how can you be able to teach Dharma to end suffering? You end up teaching it in an academic way that doesn't serve its purpose, because it's very hard for you to bring out the 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 出世间 portion. It's very hard for a person who learn it in an academic way to bring out the aspect of ending suffering. Put it bluntly, it's very hard for someone who is not interested in ending suffering, who has not seen the faults and danger of worldly pursuit, to teach about the faults and danger of worldly pursuits. Imagine you yourself, you are a drug addict. Then you still want to go and counsel people to stop taking drugs. If you yourself like to eat a lot, then you go and teach people how to diet. Even we don't have to say that you are overweight. Even if you are super slim, super fit, but you like to eat a lot, no? Then how do you convince people that they should not eat so much? You know, it's very difficult. Yeah. So I don't recommend people to pursue a career prospect in terms of Buddhist studies. Yeah. If you want to seek a career, go and seek career. Yeah. Seek whatever career. Just make sure it's right livelihood. Yeah. In fact, in a way, there are some I've heard before some people question whether it's okay to charge for Dhamma classes, and also whether it's okay for people to be teaching and for the like as a career, because there are some lay teachers. That's all they do. They just teach Dhamma, and then indirectly they get paid for it, you know, right? So then it becomes just a job. It becomes just a job. Yeah. In the Bodhisattva, I think in the Bodhisattva teachings, you're not supposed to sell Buddha artifacts. You're not supposed to sell Dhamma. Yeah. So this part is a bit fringing on that. Yeah. This is not integrating Dhamma into your life. Now, I'm just reading it on the surface. Okay, I'm reading this on the surface. Because this person is anonymous, I cannot verify. And the question itself in no way state that this person wants to seek the postgraduate academic studies in Buddhist studies in order to learn more deeply and to apply the Dhamma in the person's life. There's no indication of that. And upfront career prospects. I would strongly recommend whoever watched this video that if you are considering career prospects, look for other career. Buddhist academic studies, to become a teacher in Buddhist studies, that's not a suitable career. Yeah, leave teaching of Dhamma to monastics. If you want to teach Dhamma, go and become monastics. Yeah, yeah. Hey, but Sifu, don't you all receive like food, lodging, and then nowadays you all also receive angbao? Yeah, but we don't consider that as remuneration. So what does that mean? Even if nobody from now on give me angbao, I'm okay. But then Sifu, wouldn't you stuff lah? Yeah. Yeah, I like to think that that's the attitude of Sangha. So that's why sometimes we appear very like Haolin. But it's not about ego, it's about that this is why we are doing it. We are teaching Dhamma to as a so-called free service. You know, we are doing it because we see the value in it. Yeah. And this is the instruction for Buddha. We don't do it for the money. Yeah, we don't do it for ang pao also. So you all don't feel obliged. Oh, it's a master. No. Yeah. Now there may be some centers, some venerables who have been tasked to take over centers. And so sometimes when they organize events, they have to so-called charge. Yeah. That's to me a burden, a responsibility that they very kindly take up. Yeah. I like to think that venerables, if they have a choice, if now somehow there's a way that all venerables can just teach and conduct Dhamma programs without charging, everybody will just start doing that. Yeah, they'll just start doing that. Yeah. You think we, I mean, especially in Singapore, 蛮好混的 you know, yeah, and most venerables that I know, 混得还可以. Like I always tell, I mean, I sometimes mention in our monastery in the US, I'm the most uneducated. The rest at least a master, sometimes some of them double master, sometimes PhD. Double PhD, walao. My Dhamma brother, who is my peer, he's a physicist. His research paper is used by Intel for the copper mine technology. So if he continue his work, yeah, I'm talking about Lu Guan Fa Shi. Yeah, he's very talented, you know. Yeah, my senior Zida Fa Shi, I often mention about him. I don't think he yeah, he's an aerospace engineer, you know. Yeah, it's not that he got fired. He decided this is not what he wanted. He has his own house in US, all paid for. Yeah, he said, waste time. Okay, let me come along. So if you want to seek a career, go and work hard in the worldly life, and then learn Dhamma and infuse it in your life. That's the correct approach. Don't go and learn Dhamma to teach, thinking that that's a way to integrate Dhamma in your life. Because once you take it as a career, your mind is not about the true essence of Dhamma already. Your mind is, what should I be teaching so that I get more students, so that I can retain students? You know what I mean? It's very clear cut. It's very realistic. You know, if you take it as a career, then you'll be thinking, wow, how can I teach in a way that I have more students? Except many years ago, a venerable referred ESSEC to engage me to teach. I thought it was a one-off thing. ESSEC is a university, a French university. Yeah. And I thought it's a one-off thing. So I said, okay, yeah, sure, go ahead teach. So it was a module under the Asian civilization and culture, Asian society and culture. Yeah, under the exchange program. So I covered one session, and then they asked me, like, very funny, before the course, they asked me, like, so in terms of the what they call it, they call it the honorarium. Yeah. So I said, up to you all. I like they were trying to like have a like bargain or no, I don't say bargain. They were trying to determine what is my market rate, you know. So I was like, I don't charge for teaching. If you don't give offering, then you give. You don't give, I'm okay also. Then they were, then they said, oh, we'll go by our standard rate for external lecturers. I said, whatever lah. Then in the end, they really sent me a check, you know. Or eventually they asked for, how did they? I think they usually send me. I don't know lah, but that's administration. Then after a few months, they contact me again. I was like, I thought it's a one-off thing. Then they said, oh no, the cohort comes like 2 or 3 times a year. I was like, so I was like, okay, well, anyway, good opportunity to share Dhamma with the students. So, okay. Then there was one time, they called for a meeting. Yeah, they called for a meeting. And then they were telling us things like that there's some restructuring, and then they may have to adjust the lecturer's fee and things like that. And they were saying that they have to reduce the lecture time. Yeah. So then I was thinking, I told them very upfront. I said, look, I'm okay to not receive any gratuity or whatever. But if you reduce the classroom time, then already this is a very condensed introduction. You still reduce it, then what do you want me to teach? I say, I don't mind, teaching for free lah. Don't bother about, don't worry about cost lah. And then they were like, huh? So I think they had a hard time. And okay, continue for a few more years. Then after that, one day they tell me, and there are other lecturers for other religions. Now I'm not putting them down, and I respect them as fellow lecturers. Yeah, but personally, from the conversation and the discussion, I can appreciate why the Buddha told us not to teach for, to get material gain. Yeah, because whatever the school requests, I can see that they were very eager to fulfill whatever is required. Now it may seem like, well, but if you're a lecturer, then that's what you should do. Exactly. If you're a lecturer and that is your career, then whatever the school requires you to teach, you have to teach. Yeah. And that's why the Buddha said we should not be in service of anyone. Because otherwise, you know that you're supposed to say this, you know that you're supposed to teach that. But in order to maintain your source of income, because if this is your career, then you will be compelled to say what people want to hear, do what people want you to do. Don't you all sometimes at work feel gay to bo bian, right? Right? And that's why it's not suitable for anyone, whether you're Buddhist or not, that doesn't matter, to seek Buddhist studies as a form of career. Not suitable. Oh. Now it may sound, wow, Sifu, sometimes you are very harsh in the way you put it across, but there's no second way around it. Yeah. Whether you're enlightened or not, that's another thing. Whether you cultivate well or not, that's another thing. But it's about your view, about your attitude towards the Dhamma. Your attitude cannot be wrong. If your attitude is wrong, then no matter how well you explain, it's going to be, it cannot, you will veer off. Yeah. But I'm glad this person asked this question, because I'm sure there are others who also think this way. Yeah, because there are a few in Malaysia, in Singapore, in other countries, lay teachers. And as much as I like to think that most start off not with that kind of intent. Yeah. And they may also think, well, your monks also teach, right? Then you also receive ang pao. How come we cannot teach and receive ang pao? But if there are some monks who teach with the mindset, this is my career, that's their problem. But that's not what we are doing, or what we should be doing. Yeah. So to me, this is good, because while you are not teaching the so-called teaching Dhamma, you are learning Dhamma, right? But in the same way, you have to ask yourself, why are you learning Dhamma? We should be learning Dhamma to know more about ourselves, our current state of defilements, our current state of suffering. It's okay, we are not enlightened yet, but our attitude should be correct. We should be trying to improve ourselves. We should be trying to work on our defilements, to be free of defilements, to be free of suffering. Hui Hui asks, what is your advice for lay therapists that are practicing with the view of enlightenment, I guess, with the view and intentions towards enlightenment. Lay therapists. What kind of lay therapists? Wait. What kind of lay therapists? You can write, or you can turn on your mic. Psychologists or social workers? Well, that's a different domain of career altogether. Yeah, psychologists or social workers that are practicing with the view and intentions towards enlightenment. Well, and then it's the same as anybody else. Yeah, you must use the Dhamma to what I call that? Use the Dhamma to understand your defilements, to know your defilements, to know your suffering, and work towards it. Work towards the end of it. Yeah. Unless you are asking, how about what is advice for lay therapists that are practicing with the view and intentions towards enlightenment and are trying to incorporate the Dharma in the therapy work? Yeah. Now, assuming that let's just include that as part of the questions. Then, Li Ying, please don't use dot again, okay? I've mentioned before. Yeah, if you keep on coming online and then use dot, it's not respectful to others. You first of all, you don't turn on your camera. Secondly, you don't put your name there. Like, please remove Li. Yeah, one of the volunteers who is the host. Okay.
Remove.
Yeah, because this is an open platform. As it is, we don't put a password. We do have a password, but we give you the link if you ask for it, so people can just join, right? So there should be that, it should be an open space where we know who we are talking to, right? Yeah, and I already highlighted before. So it will still be the same, actually. Yeah, even if psychologists or social workers want to incorporate the Dhamma into helping people, they should be working on themselves as well. Yeah, they should be working on themselves as well. The difference between this and the other person who is seeking, and the question itself is, the core here for psychologists or social workers is a bit different from if you consider a career prospect right at the get-go, while trying to do Buddhist studies. Yeah. And one may say, but there's also Buddhist psychology. Yeah. Well, but that's currently sort of like an add-on. Yeah. I don't know whether there's any university currently that can say you major in Buddhist psychology. Yeah. I think in Australia, I think Ding Rong Fa Shi, he does have some courses that seem to have some modules that is accredited by some universities in Australia, but it's still not a mainstream thing. Yeah, CBT itself has a lot of elements from Buddhism, but it is already declassified or reclassified, without the Dharma element already. Like it doesn't have the right view inside, for example. Right? CBT itself does take a huge part from Buddhist teaching. Yeah, MBSR is basically mindfulness training. Yeah, right mindfulness, but strip away a lot of the elements that is Buddhist and Dharma in nature. Yeah, and especially because MBSR is, well, I've seen the notes for MBSR instructors, and it seemed to include the Noble Eightfold Path. But then when it's taught to students, it's often taught outside of the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah. So that is still different. That is still different. Yeah. Whereas the question in point is, this person wants to teach, wants to consider career prospect. Yeah. But let's do some hypothetical reasoning. Let's say 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, let's say Buddhism become fully embraced in some field of psychology, and it becomes a full-fledged like a sub-faculty, okay? One of the sub-faculty, yeah. Faculty of let's say like the FASS, Faculty of Arts and Social Science, and then under School of Psychology, then there's a sub-branch division of Buddhist psychology. Yeah. Unless this branch fully embrace, yeah, teach Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Path. But in which case, then why don't you just ordain and become a monastic and teach completely? Now, some may say, but Sifu, you are ordained in the Mahayana tradition, what? Wei Mo Jie 所说经, isn't Wei Mo Jie 居士 a lay person? Well, but in the Wei Mo Jie Jing itself, it clearly tells you that this is not any ordinary lay person. This is actually a Buddha, manifesting as a lay person to help those great arahants overcome the residual, the residual attachment without outflow. That means those attachment is more like xi qi, and it is not with defilements because they are arahant already, ma. Yeah. So a lot of I mean, not a lot. Those Mahayana Buddhists who have learned this part sometimes misconstrue and think that, oh, so lay people should be able to. Can you attain Buddhahood first? No? You attain Buddhahood, then you can do that. You haven't even attained Arahanthood. You want to talk about that? Cannot. Yeah. Yeah, because lay life itself, by definition, is not suitable. Think about it, very simply. The Buddha is, just now we just recited, right? 四无上四大神咒、四大明咒、四无上咒、四无等等咒。Yeah, so this wisdom is so high, right? And the Buddha has attained it, right? The Buddha has attained it already. It's as high as it goes. And the Buddha's attainment is the Anyatula Samyao Samputi, yeah, is the unsurpassed, perfect, equal enlightenment, right? So that means Buddha and Buddha enlightenment, that awakening is equal. And there's no other awakening that's surpassing that. That being the case, then if we use the Buddha, as in Sakyamuni Buddha, as a benchmark, that should be a pretty reasonable reference point. If you think about it, if the Buddha is the maxim already, then since the Buddha attained enlightenment, he should jolly well be able to say, okay, now that I've attained enlightenment, okay, then when he go back to Kapilavastu to bring this solution to suffering to his family, the Sakyan clans, he should just go back as a lay person and then don't have to ordain his son, right? He should just tell them, yeah, no problem. You all can just continue practice as a lay person. Did he ask everybody to ordain? No, he didn't. But did he ask his disciples to say, yeah, 5 ascetic, you all attain an Arahant already, okay, can go back home already. Yeah. So, long time ago, before I ordained, I had this question. Why must we ordain? My younger sister was a nun back then, and I had this question. Yeah. I cannot understand, like, why, you know, because I felt like as it were, as a layperson, I was learning Dhamma and seems to be quite easy, what, you know, and things were going well, you know, and isn't this the fruition? Isn't this what Buddhism is about? You learn Dhamma, you improve your life, and then you live a okay life, and then and there's always this question like, who knows, maybe I'm already Sotapanna, you know. And then I went for my first novice monk retreat, and I told my mom, I said, I'll go and ask this question. Then when I finished the novice monk retreat, I came back. Then when I asked, my mom remembered what I wanted to do. So she asked me like, so did you go and ask your questions? So I said, no, I didn't ask. Yeah, because I realized that my questions are irrelevant. They are not crucial. Yeah. That until you I don't say that I'm the prime example of monastic life. Yeah, they are far better cultivators than me. But I will tell you this: the monastic life is still more suitable because easy for anyone to 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 if you're a lay person, there's no expectation from anybody whatsoever for you to cultivate. As long as you're still in the household life stage. Today you practice, tomorrow you don't practice, nobody is going to look at you and say, hey, how come you never practice? You meditate, you too good, nobody will care. Sifu, just too good, you just happen to open your eyes and you see me, maybe not even too good, my head is just like that, then you start to, hey, how comes? So the as one venerable once said, he said, Buddhism is the only one where its religious members, that means the Sangha, is full-time. What do you mean full-time? We are full-time in robes. Yeah, even if we wear t-shirt, our pants is still the. And then the moment we step out, we have to be in full robes. Yeah. So it's a reminder you have to practice. Maybe sometimes one day, you know, kisiao or then do stupid things, but immediately, okay, can better don't. But for lay person, you can go for postdoc, postgrad diploma, go for masters, go for bachelor's degree, you know, go for PhD. You can cite, well, because you do the research, while you cite here, cite there, cite all over the place. Then do comparative studies, do write paper. If you look at the 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 prose, the grammar of this ancient script, and when you talk about ancient script, we're not even talking about Pali Sanskrit anymore. But this CD script, this other script from the Middle Asia, they found some fragment, and then you compare with other findings that's non-Buddhistic, then you can see that this is from this particular time. Wow, very, very detailed analysis. But I don't know. That itself doesn't propel that person towards liberation, towards enlightenment. Yeah. Lay person's life, how do I put it? Can you attain enlightenment? Can, it's possible, but difficult. Yeah. And especially if you want to take on the role as a Dhamma teacher, then at most you teach the max is towards until the lay person's role, right? Can a lay person teach the life of a monastic? Cannot, you haven't even go through it. Right? You're not living it. How are you going to teach? In which case, then, if if more and more lay people think, oh, we can also teach Dhamma, then eventually there'll be no more monastics teaching. Why? Not because we don't want to teach, but because eventually we retire, we die. Not retire, we die. We retire when we die. And because if those who connect with Dhamma sufficiently think that it's not required to ordain, then the Sangha will just die out. Not wipe out, but you'll die out because there are no new renunciate to join in. Then eventually, the only Dhamma that can be taught will be that of a lay Dhamma. Then all that will be taught is 5 precepts, occasionally 10 precepts, 8 precepts. And even 8 precepts, I had this discussion with a Dhamma friend. And occasionally I find that this Dhamma friend of mine, he would hesitate to interpret the teachings in a way that very clearly state that sensual pleasure is wrong, is faulty. Yeah, I don't point this out because I want to, I cannot just jump to conclusion, but I suspect it's because he himself, as a layperson, is enjoying sensual pleasure. So if it's difficult for him to reconcile that he's actually not going the right way. Yeah. Whereas for monastics, even in monastic, it's wow, very nice, but at the back of my, oh, this is not to be indulged in. So you will not, I don't know lah. At least I don't think you will ever hear me say, oh, it's good to enjoy sensual pleasure. That it's right to enjoy sensual pleasure. Yeah, you will not hear any monastic say that it's correct to enjoy sensual worldly pleasure. If you hear, then if you hear that, then we are in trouble. Yeah, and that's why I still say better to keep it clear. Integrating the Dhamma in our life doesn't mean we're going to become a Dhamma teacher. Yeah, it's different from like I mean like Mei Yan is Mei Yan Xinghui. They are Dhamma teacher, volunteer teacher in the Dhamma school. This is different, Don't be mistaken. Then the two of them after that, 师父逼我，师父 force us to make a choice. Okay, I don't attend 师父 class anymore. Either that or I stop being a Dhamma teacher. No, because you are not doing it full time, right? Yeah, they are not getting paid. That's why I keep on highlighting in the Dhamma school to the children. I say, you all think the 你们的老师没事做啊？ I tell them, I say, they have their own work, they have their own family to take care of, and then they still have to spend time to prepare for lesson to teach you all. And then they have to spend the time to conduct classes to share with you all. You know how much stress and pressure they have to go through? Yeah. Because, and why are they doing this? Yeah. So why are you all paying attention? I tell the small kids. Because sometimes every few weeks, like at least once a month, I must. Then they, oh, 乖乖一点，规矩一点，听话。Then after a while, 2个星期 2, 3, 4 weeks, then they attend class, then they turn on the special effects, then they have a mask, then they put themselves in the TV box. Then they Dhamma chanting, then they put the leg out. Then drink. There's one more. Uh, 上课的时候只能吃东西，喝水。阿弥陀佛。Yeah. So let this be a reminder to all of us. Why we learn Dhamma? Why we learn Dhamma? It is for us to understand ourselves, understand suffering, and to know how to put an end to it. 愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿得智慧真明了，
愿得智慧真明了，
不愿罪障悉消除，
不愿罪障悉消除，
世世常行菩萨道。
世世常行。
阿弥陀佛。Till we meet again, may be guided and protected by the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And as always,
Bye bye.
have a Dhamma-filled day ahead.
Thank you.
Stay safe, take care.